Hello, 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 and welcome back to Just Barely Qualified. I found something else that I am barely qualified to fix, so I thought I would share that with you. I have a E150, they've never changed it, but it's 2006, and I think that this still applies from like the 1999s on up to 2016 or something like that. But as you can tell, she's had better days. So I am going to change out the bottom cushion. The top one, totally fine. I saw how much it was to replace the entire chair, and it was quite a bit. And it was only $200 on Amazon, and I'll go ahead and leave a link in the description. But yeah, $200 to change out not just the upholstery, the cushion, the springs, all of it. So not just the cover. Be careful when you're buying stuff. Sometimes if you're buying something online, it'll just come with just the cushion or just that. So just read those descriptions, people. Anyways, so I'm going to go ahead and show you how to save a little bit of money and figure out how to do it along the way. And I'll take you along with me. Uno momento. So first thing you're going to want to do is you're gonna wanna take the chair out. It's a little bit awkward. I actually have a partition behind my seats in my van, and that's mounted, a little metal wall, so it made it even harder to get to. But even with that, I was still able to reach all 4 of the bolts / screws that was in the vehicle, just from going underneath the seat. It's awkward as hell, but if you did your yoga that day, boom, you're good to go. So 2 of the front bolts on the assembly, so there's 4 bolts holding the whole thing, or these screws and those bolts. I was able to use a T55 Torx to get this guy out, and after, it's an old van, so everything's been rattling around, so it wasn't too big of a deal to get it off. I'll show you what that looks like. T55. It was a little wiggly, but I could not find a Torx that would fit it any better, and it worked just fine. So T55, and then for the back bolts, it is on a threaded pipe, or like bolt that's coming up from the floorboard, so you might want to use a deep socket on it. I was able to get this guy to work just because it's quite big right there, so I was able to go over the bolt and fit right over. So that's an 18 and a T55 to get it out of the vehicle. There's also going to be a connector clip, like one little electrical harness that you're going to want to make sure to disconnect before you try to pull it out. But I already did that part, so I'm not going to show you that, but hopefully this is detailed enough. Okie dokie. So you're going to want to take your Phillips head bit. First step, there was a screw right there. I've already taken it out, so just imagine. And then this guy comes off, and I believe there's only one more screw right there, Phillips head, and then this whole plastic shroud should come off no problem. And you can see right here how it was on there. If you weren't convinced that it was completely messed up, goodness gracious. So now we have the seat positioned like this, and you can see different models may vary on how the access hole is, but there's generally on these Fords an access hole. So what we're going to do is we're going to stick an extension with a 15mm socket through to access these bolts, and going to loosen all 4 of them, all corresponding with the access hole. Oh, there is no access hole on, well, there is that, and then, and this one doesn't need it. That's technically right in line. All right, we got those 4 bolts off, so now this whole bottom assembly should just pop right off. Perfect. And you can find a lot of extra change just lying around in this thing. It's been only about, what, 15, 20 years old? Alrighty, so now we've got the little bottom off the legs. And so we have the track system here, and if you can't see this bolt, it means you've got to move the track because the track is covering it up. So we've got 1 bolt, 2 bolt, 3 bolt, and 4 bolt. And now, since there's one way that you can move the track is you can just push this and then move each track out of the way. Just make sure that you line them up before you finish the assembly. And I believe these are 10mm bolts, so I'm gonna take boop, 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 and boop right off. Okay, we've gotten those 4 bolts off, and you might be able to tell that the seat is no longer attached to the frame. So I'm gonna flip this guy over and slide the cushion off. All right, while I was flipping it over, the cushion just kind of came out. And wanted to point out on this side, near the seat belt, there is one of these guys just kind of in the frame, so you just have to wiggle and pull it out. And then there should be one more connection that we have to disconnect on the bottom of this guy. This wire here just has to be disconnected from the cushion, and it's just more of those little spin and pulls that you can never get one-handed while you're recording. But yeah, you get the idea. Pull this guy out. Same thing over here. Just pull this out. There we go. And it's old, so if the plastic snaps, I mean, that's just, it's 15-20 years old, but I'm gonna try and save it with both my hands. Good luck to you. Quick update, I was able to get both of them out. I used this guy. You can also use the little hook, little puller tool, but this works fine, just wedging and then twisting, wedging and twisting. And then now that that's all disconnected, this cushion can be thrown away. Shouldn't have to transfer anything else over, but I'm sure if I did something wrong, you guys will let me know. Like I said, I'm just barely qualified. Never said I was a professional. And we're figuring this out together. I've got the new seat here. So installation should be reversed, but I'm not gonna leave you hanging like that. I've watched too many YouTube videos to know that that is not great, because I would like to see the problems that might come up while I'm reinstalling, because it never goes the same. So yeah, I'm gonna put the cushion on and then flip it back over and attach those 4 10mm bolts in the corners from underneath, while just making sure to have everything end up on the right side of everything. Just make sure that nothing gets snagged, nothing gets pinched. I'll let you know how it looks. And this is why I do it, folks. Make sure that you disconnect this piece right here from here. Thought it was Velcro, was not. I actually ended up jamming the whole thing in there on this side with all the assembly here, and it was very difficult because it wasn't intended to also go in there, and it's already a tight fit. So yeah, this does come off, and then it goes over the whole assembly, and it has this little thing here. And I am very glad that it happened to me, and that hopefully it doesn't happen to any of you because of this video. Boy, what a whole thing. So yeah, it's a tight fit, but you can do it. You just have to mess with it a little bit, getting the cushion in. I guarantee it'd be a lot easier if I hadn't been trying to shove this whole thing in there. And then, so disconnect this, shimmy that in. It is tight, but it's supposed to be. Just trust the process. Get 1 bolt in at a time on either side, and then do the other half. And then once it's all done, you can snap that back in and you're good to go. Here's another thing that may not happen to you, but this spring here that is responsible for giving the resistance to this for sliding the chair forward and backward. The spring had actually come off during just messing around with getting the cushion on. And I noticed that because when I pushed this side, the teeth popped back up and the teeth on this side did not. All I had to do was slide the track up to gain access to the spring, and then just bent it back with some needle nose pliers, and then had it rest. I know it's hard for me to show you, but there's a little groove that the little bracket that this teeth have. I'll show you the action. See how the spring moves back with it? There's a little groove that it rests in there. I know my phone battery, I can't have a flash. Anyways, it probably won't happen to you. I was surprised it happened to me, so just look out for that if the teeth aren't wanting to spring back in. Alrighty, make sure that when you're putting the base back on, that it goes back in the same order, or else you could have some issues with reinstallation. Yeah, so as you remembered, I had the 2 channels over here while it was oriented like this, with the seat facing away from me and down on the ground, and then the other side just had the groove. So that's one way that I'm putting this back on in the right order, just knowing that that was how it was oriented. And now for the last bit of the install, putting the shroud back on. Just going to be sliding it on, and then there was those 2 Phillips screws, one that attached on the back end here, and then one that held this clip on. There's really only one way it can go on, like that. So I'm gonna do that. All right, well, we're all set. My back will definitely be thankful. I hope that this video helped you out, and again, I am barely qualified, but just barely qualified to do stuff like this, and I like to post DIY videos like this. If you like it, like it. If you would like to see more stuff, just random auto home maintenance, that kind of thing, then give me a follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. Have a good rest of your day. All right, well, we're all set. My back will definitely be thankful. I hope that this video helped you out, and again, I am barely qualified, but just barely qualified to do stuff like this, and I like to post DIY videos like this. If you like it, like it. If you would like to see more stuff, just random auto home maintenance, that kind of thing, then give me a follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. Have a good rest of your day.